So she walks like this and with this. Yeah, I guess she was faster. Wow, okay, so we can sneak all the time. What's that?
Piece of Eden.
Increase the electricity.
But it'll become unstable, sir.
You heard what Miss Thorne said. We need results now.
My job. Under blue light, it goes completely transparent. If you don't mind me saying, that would be an exceptionally bad idea.
Galapagos to roost with his beloved finches.
Miss Thorne will have your head. And if the panic
Wow. Have seen me up far here. Ha. Nope. He's talking about us. I don't know what, but he's talking something. A little more. Is that an enemy? Nope.
Yes, that's it. Now we really have something. Note the frequent fluctuations in the light.
Stop her.
It is time to lay down your head, Sir David Brewster.
But I have so much more to discover.
Do not be afraid.
I'm not. God will protect me.
I will continue your experiment.
You will not stop, Starrick. Miss Thorne has already found another piece of Eden, more powerful than the last.
I will take that one too.
We fight to gain what we cannot take with us. It's in our nature.
So they both have this thing with tissue now.
I have to get out of here now.
I guess we can do it like this. Really run the same speed.
Come on.
Oh yeah, I thought we died.
That was far too close. I must find a way out.
Okay, there is a chest somewhere. Yeah. Okay, where's that chest? This is this one. Damn.
Come on!
Have we missed it? Okay, I think we missed this. done. Though we missed the chest.
What was that explosion?
What explosion?
Evie?
Piece of Eden detonated and took the lab with it.
The magic lump of hyperbolic metal. I'm shocked.
Simply because you have never valued the pieces does not
All
mean...
went according to plan, hmm?
There was a slight complication.
How slight.
The lab exploded.
Jacob.
You derailed a train.
Oh, he did. Did he?
Well, the train derailed and I happened to be on it. I killed my target.
Brewster is also no more.
Then all in all a successful mission in spite of you two.
What about London?
What about it?
We're wasting our time out here.
You know as well as I do that London has been the domain of the Templars for the last 100 years. They are far too strong yet. Patience.
But the Templars have found a new piece of Eden.
Sir David is dead. They do not know how to use it. The Council shall guide us. Sound advice that your father would have seconded. I shall see you back in Crawley.
Patience, Evie.
The gentle sound of opportunity passing us by.
So what's stopping us? London is waiting to be liberated. Forget Crawley.
Father would have wanted us to
Oh,
listen.
Father. You could continue his legacy in London.
Freeing future generations from a city ruled by Templars. You know, Jacob Fry, you might just be right.
Then shall we?
Yes. Let's. Onward to London.
Welcome to Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
I know. You've only had a taste of our latest acquisition from Abstergo. But I want to check in on Sean and Rebecca. I still think attacking a Templar is a mistake.
Call Dr. Grammatica.
Come on. Please, Isabel. What a lovely surprise.
Our mutual friends will be here shortly to search for the artifact. Once it's located, I'll let you know.
Super. Always a pleasure.
Prick.
It's people like you that give historians a bad name.
I'm afraid I don't have time for you today, Mr. Hastings.
Thank you for making my job easy.
Oh, shit.
It does look grim.
Master Berg, Agent Acosta. Deal with them, please. Move it! Hunt them down!
All they had to do was wait for you to search the data. Their little stunt has put the whole operation at risk. You need to synchronize Jacob and Evie's memories. Find something that puts us ahead of the enemy. Time is of the essence, and lives are now clearly on the line. Good luck.
Wait, trouble on
I've never seen so many
1868.
people all at once.
Churning seas of London. It's just the way Father described. Now, to find Henry Green and formulate a plan of attack against the Templars.
Is Mr. Green again?
The assassin watching over London? Did you not listen the first 3 times?
Listen to what? Oi, watch it.
Beg pardon, sir.
Oi! Come back here, you filthy dipper!
Stop!
Chase the thief. That's not good. Oh, okay. Wait then. You can wait. Chemicals. 7, what's that?
Fine, you little mobsman. Keep it.
Well, well. What do we have here? You're on our property. I'm gonna rip your tongue out! Don't let him breathe!
Double finish, yes.
Excellent. What else does London have to offer?
Now is not the time for tourism, Jacob. Now's the time to find Henry Green. I've always been the quicker climber, haven't I?
Not since we were 2.
Race you to the highest vantage point.
Yeah, I'm just kind of.
Not on my watch.
What's that? Retrieve. Illustration Whitechapel. Let's see it. Inventory, by the way. No, we'll just play a game. But okay, this one we have upgrade again for £500. Upgrade preview. Gives us more attack. Here's like can't have it, I guess. The red one. This is that must be crafted. What's the difference between red and black? Okay, here's like Okay, so this is attack 111 upgrade. Sure, why not? Assassin. Get it from the club. We'll do this later. So I need to buy DLC and buy it. No, there's no way to upgrade this. Oh, here. Defense stuff into level 2. So there's no need to upgrade this one. We'll just wait on this one. We'll just outweigh this. So I am simply Jacob, or the creature resurrect. My person was Hydros and my status judging. What did this mean? Who was I? What was I? Mercenary Frankenstein or the mother of Mateusz? I think I like this one. As always, we can play Ezio. No, I don't need to spend money on this. Encyclopedia. Sample appears unoffered and London various pubs of shunken sequences and some rare experience. Illustrations. Illustration 39. Ark's Cottage, Barford. Okay. Present day people. Otzoberg. This guy, I don't know if I don't remember him. This was 17 June 1985. Johnny Otzoberg was born in Mikkel, Finland, but was dragged around the world by his father, who worked for an oil company belonging to one of Abster's many subsidiaries. So young Masterberg was raised by Rick Picks in Afghanistan, Kurdistan, and Oman, to name a few. And that doesn't really sound like magical childhood, does it? With his father's blessing, Berg returned to Finland to join the army. At first, they made fun of his muddled accent. Technically speaking, he doesn't even pronounce his own name correctly. But the jokes quickly stopped as Berg proved himself to be exceptionally recruit, becoming one of the youngest special Jaeger in the UT Jaeger regiment. Okay, and then they probably hire him. Just as he did, Berg showed promise early and quickly rose through the ranks, and eventually won a spot in the inner sanctum on the border. He was given command of Sigma Team, an elite force designed to hunt assassins. He's been a pain in the Proverbials balls ever since. Otzoberg is a scary mother F, and someone actually made a baby of him for us. Wow. Violet Costa. Younger by 3 years. It's tempted to say that Violet Costa is an every version of Rebecca Crane, but then that assumes you haven't spent much time with Rebecca Crane. I am Rebecca Crane. Violet was born in Paris, Ontario, and completed a bachelor's degree with a double major in mathematics and computer science. Fun times. She was looking for work in the intelligence community when she was recruited by Stack to work as a technologist. Violet's services are in high demand as she is currently sent around the world to various obstacle facilities in order to fine-tune and innovate on various operating systems, network, security, and intrusion detection systems. She's a champion. She's also Canadian. Frankly, both make me shudder. Okay. Okay. So what? We're chasing our sister Ivy. She's gonna win. Never mind. We got the picture.
Where is Mr. Green's shop located? It was marked on Father's map.
2 assassins. Equal in height. 1 female, 1 male. 2 decades old, and those devilish smiles. You must be the Fry twins.
And you are?
Henry Green, at your service. I was sorry to learn about your father's passing.
Thank you.
What can you tell us about Crawford Starrick?
I suppose the Council desires news.
London must be freed, to provide a better future for all of its citizens.
Well, thank goodness the Council saw reason and sent you to aid us.
Yes. Thank goodness.
Unfortunately, I am the bearer of bad news. Today, Starrick sits at the helm of the most sophisticated Templar infrastructure known in the Western world. Every class, every borough, the gangs, the industries. His reach extends all across London.
I've always thought of myself as a gang leader. Firm, but fair. Huh. Well, I have uniforms. And I'll unite a mix of disenfranchised outsiders under one name. That's it, Evie. We can rally them to our side.
Oh, like the way that you rallied those card players at the Oakwood Tavern into the river.
Oh, that was different. They beat me at whist. I can see it now. We'll call ourselves the Rooks.
You were never good at chess either.
Have you got a better plan?
Find the piece of Eden.
Oh.
Well, let me show you the lay of the land. Shall we? The best way to see any landscape is from above.
Okay, so for that I had to adjust some things. You want me to... There's a bottle. I know what the bottle does, but let's take this one. Yep, let's see. Encyclopedia, cool tables, beer tasting notes. Oh, show tasting notes. Was Paul this pioneer from this cash strawberry right while King born, which would be fortunate as he could then intimidate put the Brewercy to death for crimes against the state. Then seeing a crisis of succession, several mass outbreak of food poisoning would surely plunge us into a dystopian age to make British comic book writer of the 1980s wet himself with bully. Multi corner plus the virtues, indeed. And no, I'm not going to translate that for you. You should bloody know what it means. House of Blood spell. No, I don't know what that means.
Climb the chimney and see all of London for yourself.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Oh, it's getting nice. Damn.
Look at what Starrick has done to the city. Whitechapel is riddled with crime. Child labor, despite regulations. A gang known as the Blighters overruns the streets, and Templars manipulating behind the scenes. As in all the other boroughs, we need to return this city to the people who built it in the first place.
We will free London from Starrick. You have my word.
And my rooks.
Miss Fry, your passion is inspiring. Come. Let us return to my shop, and I can bring you up to date on the rest.
I like them. This is gonna be a fun game.
Keep quiet. Kaylock's looking for me.
Who's Kaylock?
One of Starrick's gang leaders.
Why does he want you?
He's after some of my more arcane research into one of the precursor artifacts.
The Piece of Eden.
So tell me about these blighters.
In search of an army, Starrick gathered up the nastiest of the underworld. Some of the city's gangs tried to prevent it and was slaughtered for their efforts. Now, only Whitechapel's clinkers remain opposed, but they're no match for the Blighters.
Well, let's shine these clinkers up then, shall we? They're just the sort we're looking for.
You can't be serious.
Evie, they're ready to fight and oppose the Blighters. This is my chance to step in. Look out, London. Here come the rooks.
Confound this city. No one looks where they're going.
Yes, I've noticed that.
Bloody Drood. I'll never finish it at this rate. Only Providence knows where those words are headed now. Well, I must get to work replacing them. Should you ever be in the mood for a tale or two, you can always find me where the ale is warm and tempers are hot. Ta-ta!
What an odd man.
That Mr. Fry was Charles Dickens. Knows everyone and everything in the city. If I were you, I would keep that connection in your back pocket. Kaylock's gang is nearby. They must not follow me back to my shop.
We'll take care of it.
Here, you might be able to use this.
Oh God, I hope so.
My carriage is nearby. Make use of it to throw them off my trail. I will meet you at the curio shop.
Yeah, I'm fighting with her or him. Drive.
That's the way. We need to lead them away from Green. Here comes trouble.
Their carriages are easily damaged. Kaylock will rue the day.
What's that? Good. You poor guy.
Let's go.
Ah, I can do this something like that. Good.
They've gone.
Now to return to Mr. Green.
Aye, aye, Captain.
You're relentless.
That relentlessness will see me become master when we finish this.
George would do nothing of the sort. Whatever's left of the Creed would perish under your control.
Harsh words, dear sister.
Now we can ramp forward on ramp
I do hope Mr. Green made it back
on
safely.
sides.
Don't tell me you fancy the bloke already.
And what do you suggest we do if our number one source of
This is
information
weird.
turns up dead?
Starrick can't be that hard to find. I say we turn the
Oops.
carriage round and we'll find him.
This is why you are
Damn,
in charge.
GTA, dude.
Easy, girl. Easy.
What? Just push me. Okay, firearms. The Ringer pistol, bullseye result, revolver. Wait, database. Tutorials, tools. Yeah, we know this. No map, it happened to be right now. Okay, hey, dude.
Come on now, Gil.
Top. Oh, man. Okay, so the famous Strand, Westminster, Lambeth, the Southwark. Okay, I think I was here when I was visiting London and... Wait, no, I'm sure I was here, but where did I stay? I remember. It's actually cool. Finally playing a game where you actually were. I mean, I was in Paris. The Paris was when I was a child, and here was a few years ago. Nice. Charles Dickens, certainly during his lifetime, George John Huffman Dickens remains one of the largest sources of information regarding 19th century London, known for being both a literary titan and an activist. Dickens' work showcased the life and personalities of London working class people. If you ask around in London pubs that still exist today, most report that he was a regular. Imagine being a regular at every single pub. That takes dedication. My favorite contemporary criticism of Dickens would have to be Mr. Dickens, as in revenge for his own queer name, thus bestows the queerer ones upon his fictitious creations. Dickens was born in Portsmouth, the second of 8 children. He was said to have had an idyllic childhood up until the summer of 1824. When his father, John Dickens, was arrested for debt and thrown into Rushliya debtor prison with his family in town to help pay off his father's debt, George was forced to leave school, begging work at a blacking warehouse, a place that was notorious for its poor treatment of children. Not greatly to be seen, yet even after his father's life was cleared, young Charles' mother suggested he continue to work. I never afterwards forget, I never shall forget, I never can forget, he said. That my mother was born for my being sent back. Once free of the warehouse and after attending school, Dickens got a job at the law office of Ellis at Blackpool. Living in the city, he attended the theatre religiously and, inspired by the stories spun on the stage, began his writing career. Dickens, of course, went on to be world-renowned for works including Oliver Twist, A Christmas Carol, and Great Expectations, and his success as a writer continued through his life, with even Queen Victoria calling herself a fan. Perhaps less well known, however, is Dickens' powerful interest in the supernatural, which eventually saw him become part of Cambridge Ghost Club, an organization of paranormal investigation and research. One of the biggest controversies of his life was his extramarital relationship with Ellen Ternan, a young theatre actress with whom he remained until his death. Ternan and Dickens kept their affair a secret, destroying their entire history of correspondence in a bonfire 9 years into their relationship. In June 1865, Dickens was involved in Staplehurst rail crash, but despite quite heroical helping to rescue the victims, he refused to speak at the accident's inquest to avoid having to disclose that he had been traveling with Ternant and her mother. Between 1868 and 1869, Dickens gave a series of oral readings in England, Scotland, and Ireland. During this time, he also began work on what would be his final and only unfinished novel, The Mystery of Edwin Drood. In June 1870, after a full day's writing, Dickens suffered a stroke, died the next day. Coincidentally, the 5th anniversary of the Stafford crash. He was buried in the Poets' Corner of Westminster Abbey. We haven't read about him yet. Dated was 7 December 1843. Henry is good at keeping secrets as he is at meeting people. Many people do not, and most people will never know that Henry was not always called Henry. Jayadabir was born the son of a princess and an assassin. Abbasbir, a member of the Indian Brotherhood, fell in love with Payark. Yeah, Indie Assassin's Creed could be nice. The daughter of the, I think there was spin-off. It's a spin-off, not full version. Fell in love with Payark, the daughter of the Mahachara Karasin, while racing against the Templars to find the whereabouts of the mysterious Koniu diamond. Jayadeb, who was wise and trying to be a member of the Brotherhood, but to the frustration of many found he was more inclined towards both than he was to violence. Hoping it was just a past, the Brotherhood sent Jayadeb out on a mission in 1860, which it ultimately failed, putting the Brotherhood at risk. Jayadeb was then invited to England for a more suitable mission. He fell, but was never hopeful, as someday he would return, having proved to be capable field agent. Over the course of his time in England, he adopted many fake identities, but he came to love the very simple characteristics of Henry Green. Henry, a name he heard often, and Green being the color of his hat at the time. Having made connections through London, he proved extremely useful upon the area of Assassin's Creed Avian and Jacob Frey. For them he helped in their quest to bring down the Templar control in London, having consumed as much information about the city as humanly possible. While both sincere and hardworking, Jayadeb has a human side to him that many in the Brotherhood simply do not. The Rooks. An essential part of the English ecosystem, street gangs dominated the 19th century underworld. In an attempt to unify the street gangs under one regime, the Brotherhood created the Blighters and attempted to remove opposing forces to their cause. The Clinkers of Whitechapel, the last remaining independent gang in London, fought in vain against the mighty oppressors, eager to turn things around. They welcomed twin assassin Evan Jacob Frey into the circle, proposing a new idea to take back the streets of London from under the Blighters' feet. The Clinkers took on the identity of the Rooks and decided to fight under the guidance of the Frey twins. Their main approach to undermining the Blighter influence is to sabotage the hold on different areas in the city, such as Blighter-owned factories and strongholds, and then challenge them to a final fight for the territory in gang. Nowadays, London doesn't really have street gangs like those, because it doesn't seem bright jackets carrying clipboards who stop you and demand your credit card details instead. What? Is that so? Whitechapel. St. Mary Melford. The original Whitechapel that gave the broad its name was built on this site in 1286. It would be rebuilt 3 times over the course of its history. The first was in 1329, when it was officially named St. Mary Melford. It was then rebuilt in 1685, despite the fact that it was one of the only few buildings to survive the Great Fire of 1666. And it was rebuilt against 1875 in order to more closely resemble the church as it was in 1529. Talk about indecisive. The man who executed King Charles first at the end of English Civil War, Richard Brennan, was buried in St. Mary Churchyard. Historical records documented a scandal that took place in church around 1710. I know, a scandal in a church. Whatever next. Anyway, it seems like the rector of the church set up an altarpiece depicting the Last Supper and had the figure of Judas made to look exactly like a person enemy of his, the Dean of Peterborough. As far as pacification goes, that's pretty aggressive. It's also bloody brilliant. St. Marmelfon was hit hard during the Blitz of World War II and was eventually demolished in 552. Sad. Borough known for its intense poverty, prisons who could not find gainful employment resulted to professional begging, grifting, and prostitution. What job? Hello.